Barakatha Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, Barakatha Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham, Rechaha Kodash. Double honor goes out to the venerable apostles at the Great Millstone GMS alongside Ha Zaquanium and the bishops who rule and teach Yasha Allah through the Spirit, leading the flock by example and labouring in this word and doctrine, not switching up the doctrine, especially in these last days, which we are certainly in. Peace, blessings, and salutations goes out to the Bayath Shah Dawadah, which is the house of David, the tabernacle of David scattered abroad throughout the four corners of this earth, beginning with 144,000, which indeed is the governing body. Okay. Alright, servants, his men, his prophets. Alright. Okay. Now, of course, you've got the rest of the elect on down. Alright. Large multitude, etc. Alright. And enough respect to you brothers pushing this gospel, this good news, the world over in sincerity and in truth. Alright, noising this gospel abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, wa Yahweh Shai, wherever you may be scattered at. Okay. So I'm going to say Abba Ratazah, which means Father willing in ancient Hebrew. So Father willing, this lesson is indeed edifying. Just at the plantation right now. Don't have much time left, so I'll make it quick if I can and snappy. Lord willing, again, it's edifying. So yeah, war talks. All right. Exciting, man. Now, this was a few days ago, but of course, it's Bible prophecy. And there's so much going on, we can't catch up. All right, we're going to miss things. That's why it's important that, we're a body. Okay. All right. So, the Jerusalem Post, and I'll put the link to this news article in the description box beneath as well. All right. Lord willing, this transmission is clear as well. All right. The Jerusalem Post, Turkey is the new Iran. The growing threat Erdogan poses to Israel. Analysis was put up on the 13th of April, 2026. The year of sellouts, agents, and apostates. Today is Saturday, the 18th of April, 2026. Okay. Middle East expert Yoni Ben Menachem warns that behind Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's statement lies a structured plan to build a new Sunni axis that could replace Iran's regional role. Okay. Yeah, man, we're in the times of Ezekiel chapter 38. All right, Christians don't get it. The only thing they get right about the Bible really is that there's a Most High and His only begotten Son. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, these Christians did not get Ezekiel chapter 38. They think this will happen after the Savior returns. Really? Right? His real name is Yahushai, by the way. Okay. So-called black man from the tribe of Judah. All right? Christians twist up the words of the Lord, all right, and spin it, then preach their blasphemy and craziness. Doctrine of demons, man. All right? The Lord is only dealing with the elect of Israel. All right, in fact, let's get that. Romans chapter 11, verse 7, which reads, What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. That's right. So the Lord is only dealing with the elect one. According as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber, yet eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear, unto this day. That's right. So the rest of Israel is pretty much spiritually blinded. All right, it's just the elect. Okay, that's been endowed with this knowledge, this truth, and this understanding. Okay. All right, you Israelites. All right, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and Israelite foreign and speckled birds scattered all over the world, looking at these other nations, look just like them. But our Israelites going back to their father's side. All right, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's their lineage. Okay, but again, the Lord is only dealing with the elect. All right, Yasharala, Yah, meaning He, Shah, Prince, Allah, God, our power. He is the Prince of God. All right, in the ancient Hebrew. So, Yoni Ben, a researcher at the Jerusalem Center for Security and Foreign Affairs, cautions that Turkey is emerging, in his view, as an increasing strategic threat to Israel. He argues that the policies led by Turkish President Erdogan go far beyond public rhetoric. According to him, Turkey is the new Iran. He claims that Ankara is quietly working to establish a new Sunni bloc in the so-called Middle East, based on the assumption that the Iranian regime will weaken or even collapse. Such a development, he says, would create a regional vacuum following the decline of the Shiite axis. Turkey, he adds, aims to fill his vacuum alongside Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Pakistan in a move intended to reshape the regional balance of power. The Lord is going to do away with Islam permanently soon. Just you wait, man. None of that in the kingdom of heaven. No more masjids, no more mosques, right? No more Islamic dawah centers, no more inviting people to Islam, no more, dawah to people. No, it's gonna be all that foolishness is going to be done away with for good. Okay, and Turkey in the scripture is known as Gomer. Right, they're looking in the shadows, man. Bible prophecy states that Gomer will join the Medes, in other words, the Russians, and then Persians, which are the Iranians. They'll obliterate the land of Israel. Right, the Israeli state. Right, thermonuclear fire will cleanse out, purging agent, will cleanse the land of Israel for good. So much filthiness there. Homo behavior, all these different false god worship temples. That land needs to be cleansed, and it will by fire. Why? It's been trodden down by the Gentiles, especially Amalek, the worst of the heathen, the 1948ers. And Turkey is a large country with a large military presence. They're being guarded by Gog. And for years, Russia's been sending, Vladimir Putin has been, the president of Russia has been sending S-400 and S-500 missile defense systems to Gomer for years. All right? Okay. And that's them being a guard to Turkey, being a guard to these countries. See? And these nations, these heathen nations, they're going to turn on them small hats. And the whore, America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great. All right? Yeah. Okay. A.k.a. Sodom and Gomorrah. A.k.a. spiritual Egypt, spiritual Nineveh. All right? In fact, let's get Isaiah chapter 1. Sorry, Isaiah chapter 17. I have to make this quick. Sorry for the Russian prophecy about Damascus. Isaiah chapter 17 verse 1 reads, "The burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be a ruinous heap." Yeah, Turkey will have a hand in that as well. So going back to the article, on Sunday, Erdogan accused Israel of carrying out atrocities against Palestine and Lebanon and threatened potential military action against the Jewish state, similar to its past interventions in Karabakh and Libya. Alright, see? These latest comments, along with the already strained relations between Ankara and Jerusalem, could lead the two regional powers to severe ties completely, as MK Imichai Eliyahu suggested in his response to Erdogan on Sunday. Let's get the book of Psalms. Chapter 83. Alright. Start verse 2. "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." Excuse me. All right. The nations are confederate, against the children of Israel. Verse 6, "The tabernacles of Edom," right, so-called white man, all right, and the Ishmaelites, so-called Arabs, of Moab, so-called Chinese, and the Hagarenes, all right, Hamites, Gabal and Ammon of the so-called Japanese, and Amalek, right, small hats, right, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, Mohammedites. Okay. Number one on the list is who? E. See that? So these nations they're going to go into slavery for 1,000 years straight up. After that, they're going to go back to their lands and be tributaries to us Israelites, except for E. After 1,000 years, he will be exterminated forever. All right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 2, verse 1. "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, Let's break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us." See? Russia do not have next. China think they're going to rule next. They do not have next. Islam will not rule the world. These nations are going to go into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. All right? They're fighting World War III. America's going to be destroyed by fire. Right? These nations are going to fight each other. They're going to see Yahweh Shai and turn and fight him. But Yahweh Shai is going to blast them away and put them all down. See? A lot of you Christians, you're going to go into these FEMA camps. Look up what a FEMA camp is. You see? And America was primarily born out of Britain, France, and Spain. And the whole planet hates you Americans, man. Alright? Can't stand your accent. Even Europeans talk bad of you. Alongside the diplomatic front, Turkey is also strengthening its military presence in Syria. It is a strong NATO member. Right? In coordination with Ahmed al-Sharaa, however, Ben Menachem notes that Ankara has so far been cautious about approaching southern Syria due to concerns over a direct confrontation with Israel. Ben Menachem believes these steps reflect far broader regional ambitions that extend beyond Syria or Iran alone. According to him, Turkey seeks to expand its influence across the so-called Middle East, including around the issue of Jerusalem and in the international arena, developments that Israel must take into account already know. Regarding Turkey's leadership, Ben Menachem described Erdogan as the most dangerous figure from Israel's perspective and also identified Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan as another key power player in Ankara. He noted reports of tensions between the two, linked to Fidan's alleged ambitions to eventually succeed Erdogan, though he added it remains unclear whether such a scenario will materialize. Alright, unfortunately break time's over, so I'm going to leave it there. In closing, all praises to Yahweh Bashim Shai Bashim Kodash forevermore. Alright, the water for tuning in, and a bad football.